Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we're playing some more Black Sack, but I want to start with something a little different. So I'm looking at my stock list here, and instead of just running this, I've been trying out some different cards. I just did a league where I tried out a whole bunch of different cards with a list by Airplay, which is a player who plays a lot of Black Sack. But what I want to do is, people always ask me why I don't play Bone Picker, and my reason for that is that I think Bone Picker, while it can be really good, it doesn't scale like all of your other creatures. Bone Picker's really good early, but if you draw Bloodthorn Vampire off the top, assuming you have the right board state, then it can be like a lethal attacker next turn, Whereas a Bone Picker is really good on turn 2, but it's not amazing late game. It's still okay. But I figured to try it out and see what we can do, let's try to build the ideal Bone Picker list, is what I wanted to do. So we're going to play 4 Bone Pickers, and I'm just going to... let me get this sideboard out here. We're just going to see if we can modify this to be a decent Bone Picker list. Because maybe it's not something that's ideal for my main deck, or the deck that I like to play it, the way I like to play it. But maybe it's something that we can find a list for. Excuse me. Maybe it's a card that we can find an ideal list for. So if somebody does just want to play Bone Picker, or if it's good in their meta, because it's also really good against Crookland Shamans, then maybe we can build a list that can help those people. So that's what we're going to do. I'm just trying to organize some of this stuff here. Hey, I just built a version of Black Sack. Don't mind me taking notes on how yours gets updated. Absolutely. I'm glad to hear that you built it. It's a very fun deck. And some loser has like 40 videos about the deck on their channel. So, plenty of videos to sift through if you need to figure out what cards you want to add and stuff like that. But yeah, so we're doing Bone Pickers. So how do we make Bone Picker the best? Some people call Bone Picker the Black Delver of Secrets. It makes sense why they say that. It's 1 mana, 3/2 flyer. But unfortunately, that's not really accurate, because Delver can be played on turn 1, and then that's why it's so powerful. It's like a 7-turn clock, but if you get it on turn 1 and then you protect it with a bunch of counter spells, it can just win the game. Bone Picker you cannot play on turn 1 unless you're doing like Dark Ritual or Lotus Petals or something like that. Which, I'm going to be honest, even in my ideal Bone Picker list, I don't think we're playing. I'm never a fan of Dark Ritual. I just tried it in another league. I try it every so often because it's another card that people bring up, but I just don't think it's where you want to be. It is better with Bone Picker, to be fair, so maybe it is, but like even when I was playing a Bone Picker Dark Ritual list before, it just was very inconsistent. Every once in a while, you'd get the dream opener of, the problem is you can't you usually still can't even land like 2 Bone Pickers on turn 1, because you can't Dark Ritual into a creature and then sacrifice that creature. You only have 1 black mana left usually. I guess we could play Culling the Weak, which would allow us to... Well, that didn't work. Culling the Weak, which would allow us to sacrifice a guy to make 4 black. I'm not sure that's the way to do that. Blood Celebrant? Yeah. I'm just not, unless you're a Turbo Initiative deck or something, I don't think you need the rituals and stuff like that, or like a Storm deck or whatever. I don't think Blood Celebrant would probably be doing it either. There's an imp you can sack for 1 black. Oh, like Blood Pet? Is that the one you're talking about? Yeah. I don't think that card's very good either, unfortunately. I think it's probably going to look relatively similar to my stock list. I think the big thing is, if they play a 1-drop and then you can snuff it out and then get a Bone Picker down, that's pretty good. We definitely want to be increasing our cheap threats. I think this is probably a list where we don't run Vampire, since we're running these as threats. And I think, and this is another thing that I don't usually do, but again, we're trying to make an ideal Bone Picker list. I think we run a bunch of Corrupted Convictions, because the problem is Bloodthorn Vampire is 2 mana, whereas I think our goal is to turn 1 a 1-drop, turn 2 Corrupted Conviction and a Bone Picker, or Carrion Feeder and a Bone Picker, something like that. We want to increase the chance that we play turn 2 like a Carrion Feeder plus either Bone Picker or a Beetle. So I think we'd probably go with 4 Corrupted Convictions here. I don't usually like this much card draw, but again, that's, I think, what we're going to try to make happen. I think more Shambling Ghast is good too. I think maybe we play a full playset. I think this card's incredible in the meta right now anyway, because Elves is everywhere, Fairies is, prevalent, Red Rally is really prevalent. But also, this is helpful for it recoups a mana, so you can maybe on turn 2 Village Rites it, get your mana back, and then double Bone Picker or something. I think if we're not running Vampire, we might not need Rite of Consumption. I do want to keep Sadistically, I think, because the thing about Bone Picker, I said, it doesn't scale, but Sadistically actually can make it scale. It's a little all in because this card's already pretty good, but if your opponent doesn't have a lot of removal, throw a Sadistically on this, make an enormous Bone Picker, and then go for lethal that way. I think it's pretty good. Unearth is a card that does not synergize with Bone Picker. Unearth is pretty good with everything else, but it's just, it doesn't work with Bone Picker. It's particularly good with Vampire, which we're cutting. I think Unearth is coming out for that reason. Accursed Marauder is great with the Beetle. It's fine with the Bone Picker, but it's like still 3 mana. We really want to get a Bone Picker for 2 mana, so it's 1 mana and then 1 other mana. So I don't know if we need Accursed Marauder in our main deck, actually. So we'd be at 3 staminas, 8 draw spells. Let's take Marauder out. We're still running Snuff Outs because I think Snuff Out with Bone Picker is really good. And yeah, it's 60 cards. I think this might be it. Like, it's not vastly different from my stock list, but it's, you know, there's a good amount of different cards, and I think this might be kind of the ideal way to play Bone Picker. We're just going to run a league, obviously, and see. It might not be. I could cut, like, a Link Breaker for another Stamina. Like, in this list, I could see another Stamina, a 4th Stamina being pretty good, because we don't run the Unearths. Obviously, get more chances for the Shambler's good. Saving a Bone Picker is, like, a lot better than saving a Beetle or a Feeder. So, actually, yeah, let's take out Link Breaker with Bone Picker is pretty good. Maybe we take out a Sage because we already have more flyers. We go with the 4th Stamina instead. Been running 16 lands recently because you really only need 2 to 3 lands tops, and you want to top deck creatures late game. Been flooding a lot with 17 and 18. I ran 16 for a very long time, but I found that you have to keep so many 1-landers, and then the chances that you draw out of that 1-lander are really tough. 17 lands, I don't find like that I flood too often. Obviously, it happens sometimes. And I still often keep those 1-landers, but I feel like with 17, I can almost always get out of that 1-lander with a draw spell. With so many draw spells, I could run fewer. Part of me thinks it's a little risky, but I also do think like that, yeah, like we have a lot more chance to flood with 8 draw spells. That is usually my experience, so sure, maybe we'll cut a Swamp and put back in that Infestation Sage. So we have 4 staminas, 16 fodder creatures. We have 12 threats, but also 2 glees, which are still good with the Sages or the Shamblers. Yeah, I kind of like the look of this list. Bone Shards. Just cost to cast a sacrifice creature, discard a card, destroy target creature or planeswalker. Not a bad card at all. I think it's probably just worse than like a Snuff Out or something, or a Tragic Slip. But in general, I don't hate it. All right, let's see if there's anything we want to modify on the sideboard here. This is something I've been trying with my stock list. I know a lot of people have been liking Vampiric Link as opposed to Sovok Lifestaff. I'm not sold on it yet, but I have been trying it out, and I think this is definitely a good place for it because I think Vampiric Link on a Bone Picker can be decent just to gain you 3 life, if not more from like a Stamina or anything else. So we're going to try those, and Spinning Darkness, yep. Spinning Darkness is actually better here, probably. Tragic Slips are good. Drown in Sorrow gets a lot worse with Bone Picker, I gotta admit. But Drown in Sorrow, I think that's just a sideboarding choice. Like, Drown in Sorrow is still just too good against Elves that we're gonna want it. But maybe we don't bring it in quite as much against, like, Rally and stuff. Or maybe we bring it in and we sideboard out some of the Bone Pickers. That is a bit of a non-bow that we need to be aware of. I think for now, though, we'll just cut, like, a Fiend. Now we're down to 2 Fiends, but that's fine. I haven't been needing as many Fiends. Like, if you go up against combo, you want as many Fiends as possible, but I think it's fine. Alright, I think this is what we're going to try. Definitely some room for improvement, I'm sure, but we're just going to see if we can make Bone Picker as good as everyone else thinks it is. Because I do like that card a lot, and it was one that early in testing I tried a few times and really wanted to make work, but I just felt like the deck needed to go in a different, faster direction. But I will say that if you're, like, my stock list is mostly tuned for MTGO and my local meta. If you find that your meta, like my local meta has 1 or 2 Jund players, 1 or 2 Grixis players, not a lot. But those are pretty prevalent decks that I could see someone being like, well, I have 4 Jund Wildfire players at my LGS. And in that case, I really want to have Bone Pickers because they're really good against those because they don't die to Krark-Clan Shaman. Thanks to Card Market for sponsoring this video. You can now pick up my comprehensive guide to Esper Cryo Affinity, including 38 sideboard matchups, and I just put out a big update for my Black Sack guide, including a slightly different deck list. I began offering coaching sessions if you're interested in taking your Pauper game to the next level, and I'm accepting deck donations, so if you desperately want me to play a deck that I usually wouldn't play, something like Elves, then you can make me do that for a small fee. I've started posting a League video every single day, not to mention streaming at least a couple times a week on Twitch, but I'm not going to be able to keep that up forever unless I can get a little bit more help from the community. Any of the ways I've just mentioned are great ways to help me out, or you can even subscribe and support me on a monthly basis. This hand is decent. We're going to keep it. We have a lot of card draw, but we can do Shambling Gas turn 1, then we can sack it to a Corrupting Conviction, and we can get a Bone Picker. Ideally, we hit a land as well. But we do have what we were trying to go for, which is turn 2 Bone Picker. I think you need... I just cut my Mesmeric Fiend, of course, against Tron, but that's okay. I think you need to try to get Bone Picker on turn 2 for it to be at its peak. And we do draw our land, which is nice. We're going to go for a Conviction. And drawing a second Bone Picker would obviously be ideal here. If we can live in Magical Christmas Land for a moment, which we don't. We do get a Sadistic Glee. I think we're just playing our Sage for as much damage as possible, though. Swamp, Wellspring. So we're probably Altertron, something like that. Another Swamp isn't terrible. I think we're going for Glee on Bone Picker, because we need to have this to Village Rites a bunch. This keeps us just as much damage, and if I do it this way, I can maybe find, like, another Bone Picker or something. I mean, I could wait until after. It doesn't really matter, but... Another Sadistically. All right, I'm going to attack for 4, and these decks don't usually run kill spells, right? Because I think I'm going to Sadistically here, and then I get 2 counters for every Corrupted Conviction and stuff. If they have a cast down, like okay, well, I don't usually see cast down out of Tron, so I guess we messed up a little bit there. But yeah, main deck I don't almost ever see it. I don't think. We'll sack a Link Breaker. I mean, there's probably no reason to play this Sadistically on the turn there since we weren't doing anything. So I probably should have waited, but whatever. We got another Bone Picker, which is not bad. If we can survive here. They go for the Fanatical Offering. They need a tower. Candy Trail. Scry 2 to the bottom. And they got a Bajuka Bog. We're not really running anything that cares too much about that, so it's fine. We have enough mana, I don't need a Conviction on the end step here. Stamina. So I'm gonna Mercenary here. I should have Mercenaried on the Bone Picker, because if I get another draw 2, I'm gonna want to sack the Insect, but whatever. Alright, play a Sage. I mean, they haven't found Tron yet. We're not dealing enough damage, though. Like, they go to 9, but they have a Candy Trail. If they find a Fangren Marauder, which they're probably running main deck, or something, it's going to be tough to... I don't know. They crack the trail. We have 5 damage, so we have like a 2-turn clock with the Stamina. We've seen just a whole bunch of card draw and fodder. We saw both of our Glees. Yeah, definitely it was a mistake. I was a little too overconfident playing the second Glee there. I really just didn't need to do that till the following turn at least. But we'll see what they got here. Another cast down. We're going to Stamina this. Just keep it around. I do like that Stamina has a little bit more power in this deck, because saving a Carrion Feeder or a Beetle in the right instance can be good, but often isn't like the most powerful thing ever because it comes back as a 1/1. They find their tower. We've also flooded out severely. That does happen when you draw a bunch of cards, but again, we went down to 16 lands for this very reason. It's a lot of land, yes indeed. I mean, we're close, but we're also pretty close to losing, I think, because they got their tower. If they just have... I mean, they're running Cast Down's main deck. They could have an Arms of Adar or something like that main deck, which would just kill us. That's the other thing that I don't like about the Bone Pickers in general, is that they're more susceptible to those board wipes. I really like the stock list of Black Sack. Board wipes affect the fodder, but they don't really affect the growers unless they're really, really small. And so you can dodge a lot of that removal. So they need both board wipes and cast down sometimes. Whereas with Bone Pickers, if that's what I'm all in on, an Arms of Adar or Drown in Sorrow kills everything. So, but we'll see what they got here. They're drawing a lot, which I think they already played a land. If they had like a Weather the Storm off the star, like they're going to gain a bunch of life, which would be unfortunate. They have another cast down. I swear, I've never seen a cast down in a Tron list in a main deck, in this type of deck before, and they just have every single one now. Alright, well, we get to put them to 5, we get a Carrion Feeder, which is not even quite lethal, but maybe if they don't have anything else, we can get their next turn. Pact Altair makes things pretty tough, though. There's a Wellspring. And yeah, even if 16 lands does end up being the right number, there's no way we could go lower than this. So it's unfortunate we drew 7 lands. I think 1 or 2 more spells, 3 turns ago would have made the difference. Saving the Sadistically would have been good too, but I don't think it would have ended up changing much. We could have gotten in for a little bit more damage, but I don't think it would have been lethal. Maybe I'm wrong. They have a million triggers here. And then we don't have main deck removal that kills this because Snuff Out doesn't work. So, yeah, we're just going to lose. I can't hit them. I can't hit them for enough. They gain 1,000,000 life. They probably hit us for another 7 next turn. Didn't play it perfectly, but also drew kind of poorly. We get to take out Snuff Out. We get Mesmeric Fiends, Rotten Reunion, Spell Bomb. I could bring in Tragic Slip. I guess Sadistically is worse against their guys, against their cast downs, although if I just don't put it on a creature that's already big, I can put it on something else and it can grow alongside other stuff. Maybe it's fine to keep. Staminas are good. I'll take out a couple Shambling Ghasts because there's nothing really to pick off. And do a draw spell. No lands. 1 land. But some card draw, some other decent cards. We'll keep it. I think I'm going to get rid of the Shambling Ghast because I want the value. If we don't draw our land, and then not having the treasure could be a bit unfortunate, but whatever. Start with the Bojuka Bog. Swing for 1. Village Rites. Don't hit the land drop. You get to try again with the Village Rites next turn. Play a Wellspring. Okay, we draw it. Swing for 1. What are the chances? There's no way they're going to be playing Drown in Sorrow because it's double black. They'd probably play Arms of Hadar. So I think I'm safe, hopefully, to double Shambler here. This just gets us the most developed, most damage on board. Next turn, if I want, I can go like Sadistically on a Shambler and then sacrifice something to grow it so we can at least get some squirrels. But again, not if they Arms of Hadar. That's definitely the worst card for us to see. Would have loved to swamp there so that I could play Fiend plus Village Rites. If I Glee here and Village Rites, I can only get 1 counter, which means Arms of Hadar still doesn't let us get any squirrels, so that's not good, and it kills this. I think we're playing a Sage. We're just Village Ritesing that. Maybe I should take 1 Shambler. I'm doing it now because if I get a land, it'd be good. But the feeder with the Sadistically is good, assuming we don't get board wiped here, which would be brutal. Then Sadistically plus feeder will be 2 really big creatures plus an army of squirrels. Well, I guess 2 big creatures and or 1 big creature and an army of squirrels. Sack Chromatic Star for black. For a map. Crack the map. Okay. That's 2nd Tron piece online. Play a star. I got a discard. Discard Extract Confession. We get a swamp. I could Carrion Feeder Mesmeric Fiend. It means I don't get the Glee down this turn. If they have 1 card that's important to take, it could be really good, like 1 cast down or something. Or I could just feeder Glee and then hold up a Rotten Reunion. Either way, we feeder. I think we go for the Fiend. It's a tough call. But I'm going to hope taking 1 card out of their hand can be good enough. They have 2 cast downs. I probably still take the cast down. They have 2 Kami of Jealous Thirst with Death Touch. That's fine, though. And then a bunch of card draw. I could take the Fanatical Offering. Then they just have some artifacts that draw a card, but they don't get to draw 3. But then how am I dealing with double cast down? They probably cast down the Carrion Feeder here, which means my Glee is kind of bad until I get another feeder. I don't want them to draw Tron. This also doesn't look like Ultratron. This is why I didn't expect the cast downs. I think they're just like Mono Black Control Tron. I'm going to take a cast down. Mono Black Control Tron being a deck that I've never seen before, and I don't know if that's what it's called. I'm just guessing. Which seems cool. Like, the commies are kind of cool. These are cards that I thought should get a little more play. Or rather, I wish there was a deck for that they could get more play out of. But anyway, they'll sack the star for black. See if they can hit that Tron. They get a tower, so no. But they can still cast down this turn, which I assume will happen on the feeder. Yup. I mean, we still just have... No, they're going to play a commie. I was going to say we still... Oh, they have a... Of course they have the Fumes. This is the exact thing that I needed to not happen. Our board gets wiped. They drew 2 cards, and they drew the exact cards they needed. We don't even get the squirrels. I mean, now we just lose, right? I guess I'm going to Rotten Reunion and Corrupted Conviction right away to try to draw 2. We only are running 2 Sadisticallys. We've drawn them both games. And they find their mine. Okay, I think we're dead now, unfortunately. They drew the Suffocating Fumes exactly when they needed it. Even if I had taken the cast down, it wouldn't have made a difference. I could have left up a Corrupted Conviction and to draw 2, but that wouldn't have made that big of a difference either. I don't know. They play double Kami, and they're able to activate them both for free. And every time they draw 3 cards, they'll be able to activate them both for free. Map onto 1, grab a Swamp. We're gonna Rotten Reunion just to get a guy to sacrifice. Sage. I don't want to put the statisticallys on this guy because they can just get death touched down. So I think it's got to be on the flyer, which means I have to sacrifice this to the draw 2. Okay, Bone Picker's not bad. And then we pass. Next turn I get to go statistically on the insect. Village Right's the zombie. I mean, the problem is they just draw 3 and they automatically gain 4, drain 4, which is kind of tough to deal with. 4 life every turn. Right, and they have a Pactile Terror. This deck looks kind of interesting, actually. Yeah, I thought it was like an Ultratron deck. It could still be a combo deck, but it looks like maybe it's just a value deck, value control deck. So that definitely is why I played game 1 so wrong, was that I was not expecting it to have all the interaction and stuff. But play Candy Trail, they have another Kami, so they get to activate all 3 of. Expedition map. I mean, I'm going to Village Rights here because we need the mana. Theoretically, if we draw like Nested Shambler, I need too many pieces. Shambler, Stamina, Carrion Feeder, Land. Don't think there's any way we get there, but we will double statistically this. I probably should have just statistically this Bone Picker this time because I could have saved a mana by sacrificing this, which maybe gives us something, but I can't imagine we can deal 25 here. Swamp, Carrion Feeder, we hit for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. We are super dead. That seems like a bad matchup, probably, just because they have a lot of cast downs and stuff like that. But again, I just didn't know what we were playing against, and that's going to make it so I don't play correctly. All right. Here we have a pretty decent one. We do have that turn 2 Bone Picker we're looking for. We're on the play. So we'll start with a Shambler. If we want to maximize damage, we should start with Feeder, and then turn 2, we go Shambler, Sack, Bone Picker. But it's more susceptible, of course, because people will kill the Feeder. We do have a second Feeder, so it's not the end of the world, but if they do kill it, it will ruin our tempo, and we'll actually be slower, because we won't get the turn 2 Bone Picker. That's 1 damage difference for to be a lot safer, but I'm going to start with the Feeder. A damage can matter a lot. There's a lot of tap lands in the format. If they bolt this, you know, it's bad, but if they don't, we get to do this. And then play a Bone Picker, swing for 2. Technically, we should probably have swung for 2 first, and then Bone Picker, but who cares? Well, if we're against Jund or Grixis, either one of these decks, Bone Pickers are... I say they're better, and I think that is generally true, because they don't die to Krark. That said, that's unfortunate. That said, they do just die to Refurbs, which is a bit unfortunate. Well, that was a great draw. So trading with a Refurb is not great, of course, but it's still better to not die to a Krark, I think. I could Stamina here right now, and then we sacrifice it just so that they can't like cast down or something in response, but then they know they want to like play a Krark right now, and that doesn't seem very good. Is this a different build? Yeah, this is a build that I brewed a little bit ago on stream. So we're playing Bone Pickers and doing our best to try to get them on turn 2, and just in general have the best deck for a Bone Picker. So it's going alright. I mean, match 1 was not very good, but our turn 2 Bone Picker percentage is, I think we're at 2 out of 3 games so far. That's pretty good. They have an Infiltrator. Okay. Well, we're going to Stamina the Shambler here. Show them how we do it with sacrificing. Dwarf this Infiltrator. Play a Link Breaker and swing with the team. They take it 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think I might as well put them as low as possible. 10, 11. So this would put them dead to 1 Bone Picker. Just because if they have a Krark... Yeah, we'll do that. Put them to 3. So even if they have a Krark... If they have Krark Death Touch or like Toxin, then I'll sack everything. They'll only gain a little bit of life. But if they just have normal Krark, then Bone Picker can kill them. If they have Lembas... If they have to sacrifice the Lembas, they're still just dead guys on the ground. Play with Bone Picker myself. Yeah, I know a lot of people like it. It's not something that I have generally in my stock build, my stock list, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just that I've found that that's the way that I prefer the deck, and that I think is generally best for online. But people can definitely have different opinions if it suits their playstyle better, or if it suits their meta better, or whatever like that. So we're giving it a try. We're bringing in Tragic Slips and Mesmeric Fiends here still for Krark. A lot of my sideboard guide for Jund and Grixis is all about how to kill Krark, because it's really important. Since we're doing Bone Pickers, maybe it's not as important for us, but we still have a ton of ground creatures that I think these are still good ones to do. I don't think I want to cut the Shambling Ghasts. Well, I usually don't anyway for Krarks, but also it's more important because they can hit refurbs now. Sadistically is interesting. I've started keeping Sadistically in so that you can Sadistically up your insect token with flying to survive Krark. We already have Bone Pickers, so maybe that's not necessary. Got a couple of trophies with the Picker recently. Felt really nice. Yeah, that's sweet. I do think Bone Picker in general is really good. I just couldn't quite make it work with my list, but yeah, I'm trying to make a list that works for it, for those people. I think we'll cut a couple draw spells. This is really one where we don't want to dirtle. We really want to just hit them hard. But I can't cut too many draw spells because we don't have vampires, so this is also our sack outlet. So we'll cut a couple. I will just try cutting the Sadisticallys. We'll see how that works, and maybe a Link Breaker. Is there a case for playing Mesmeric Fiend in the main? I find myself boarding them in pretty much every game. Yeah, that's something we've talked about a lot in the Discord. Look at this beautiful hand. Especially because when I first put out my stock list and sideboard guide, you were bringing it in against a lot of matches. I've kind of toned that down. I still bring it in against a good amount, but if you want to try it in the main deck, I say go for it. I think that even though it is brought in for a lot of matches, I don't prefer it in game 1 against most of those same matches because I just want speed. My game 1, I want to be as fast as possible. Mesmeric Fiend is not fast. It's very disruptive. So even when I'm against like a Tron or a combo deck or something where Fiend is really, really good, even maybe a control deck, I just want to go as fast as possible so that they're not prepared for it. And then when they are more prepared for it with sideboard answers, then I like to bring in Fiend so that I can counteract that. So if you want to try Fiend in the main deck, I say go for it. I have tried it a little bit, and I found that I just prefer it still in the side. What are we putting back here? It's probably just the Snuff Out. Snuff Out's really good, but we're on 6. We got to keep something. I like the value here. Fiend can act like the Snuff Out if we take a Kark or whatever, but run Tragic Slip as well as Snuff Out. Yeah, I do Snuff Outs in the main, Tragics in the sideboard, but you could do it either way. Obviously, Tragic Slip is more budget if you can't afford the Snuff Outs, or you could run some of both in the main deck. That'd be fine too. Bridge. That's a great draw. We're gonna play it safe with the Link Breaker. I could Fiend and then I could Feeder and then Fiend on turn 2 to try to take something. I think we should just play it a little safer though. Kind of like Temporal Intervention as like a 2 of in the main. Yeah, I tried Temporal Intervention a little bit. I thought it was going to be really good, and then I was less hyped on it when I tried it out. But yeah, I get if people like it for sure. I think especially for the main deck, like it was kind of the same as the Mesmeric Fiend. Hand attack can be really good, and for 1 mana, it doesn't slow you down as much. So like I think that's reasonable. But the discard instead of exile is a huge thing. Fiend being able to be unearthed or stamina has a lot of synergy. Temporal Intervention is a little bit more generically powerful, but doesn't synergize quite as well. So there's a lot of differences there, but again, it's definitely just what you want to do. They have no black mana, and they're just cracking Alembus to gain some life. Well, feeling okay right now. We get a stamina. So I could double steal from their hand, but yeah, because they could just slam some Chrysalises here. It's not the worst thing ever, but it's not it's not the best. I almost want to just Fiend. Let's see. Fiend puts us to 4, 5, 6. I almost just want to Fiend once and then stamina for this. It could be bad. Like taking 2 cards can be really good, but they haven't played anything relevant and they have 5 cards in hand. I think we're just gonna take 1 card and hope it's good enough. Well, they do have 3 cards that are really good to keep, to get, which would be Cast Down, Krark, and Toxin. But Krark, Toxin, they need Swamp for the Toxin. If they get Swamp, they start having Cast Downs. So maybe I don't take a Cast Down. I think I just take Krark. I mean, it's the one thing they can play. And if they don't have black mana, they're dead regardless. We'll swing. We're hitting for 5. I can make it a lot more. If they get the Swamp, Cast Down makes it a little awkward to use the stamina now, but I think it's still worth it. Gonna go for this. Sacrifice. Bring this back. Sacrifice again. We'll hit for 8. Yeah, I think 8's fine. I need at least one of these for Village Rites. If they cast one of these down, we'll lose some speed, so I'll want to just have some more creatures around. In a Vampire list. Yeah, that's the thing. Vampire lists, it's all about the speed. Like, there's the potential for a turn 3 win. Turn 4 is a lot more common. And so everything that I've done is for consistent speed. Of course, I could be speedier in some games with like Dark Rituals, but that's not consistent. So everything I've done with the list is to be as consistently speedy as possible. That hand is insane. Yeah, their hand is decent if they can find black mana, but I mean, it seems like they had a lot of really good cards they wanted, and a Lembas to try to find a swamp. I think it's probably a keep, but they've just gotten a little unlucky. Maybe they got the swamp here, and they're just deciding what to cast down before they're playing the land, but it feels like they might not have anything, in which case we get to hit for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I just have lethal on board. All right, that's how you take down Jund. All right, round 3 here, and we've double snuff out, double draw spell on the play with a beetle. No, I mean, this hand's got a lot of value, but I don't think that's what we need. Oh, double bone picker with the ghast. Now we just need the draw 2. I think we're going to keep. Draw 2 is so much better if I Shambling Ghast into double bone picker, but we have 8 of them, but the chances we draw one off the top are still relatively low. Carrion Feeder would be good too, obviously. I guess if I'm going in on the bone pickers, I probably should just get rid of the beetle, because if I do get a Corrupted Conviction or something, or a Village Rites, double picker is really good, but the beetle's not that necessary. I almost never put away a beetle, but this hand wants to bone picker, and I would like to bone picker. So that's what we're doing. Opponent mulligans to 5, so our hand's not amazing, but we do have 12 1-mana spells that can sack a creature. So if we lead on Shambling Ghast and we draw a Carrion Feeder or any of our draw spells, we can double bone picker next turn. And that's pretty good. Island. Delver's Secrets. Okay. Let me show them how 3/2s for 1 work. Come on. Sadistically, that doesn't do me any good. You think they'll block? Darn. I'll play a Sage, and I'm not going to sadistically either of these creatures because I want to sacrifice them, so unfortunately, we got to pass. I got the Brainstorm, so they're going to flip. Bone Picker's not bad in this matchup. I will say that we're already very well set up against Mono Blue Terror, because we have a million chump blockers, we have some decent removal, we have too many targets for them to sleep with the dead usually, and yeah, that's about it. But Bone Picker Death Touch does trade with a Terror, which is decent. It's a flyer that can trade with an Aberration, but I don't know. I think it's probably a net loss overall for the match to be playing this list versus the other one, but I don't know. Bone Picker can still do some value. Even a Snuff Out's nasty here. Yes, you're right. Snuff Out would also have worked. So that would have been 14 hits that we had. I would still take any of them, though. Even a turn 3, this would be a very strong start. We get there with the Village Rites. All right. And they tapped out, which is really lucky for us, because they could have countered the Village Rites, or they could have countered one of the Bone Pickers. But now we get to Village Rites the Shambling Ghast for a treasure and play 2 Bone Pickers. We get the Carrion Feeder too. I think just double Bone Picker is probably better. Alright. Obviously, we could have high rolled and gotten it 1 turn sooner, but turn 3, still really good to double Bone Picker here. And it's really hard for them to deal with these now. Like, they can Deem Inferior, but they can come back for really cheap. They could Sleep of the Dead, but that only deals with it for a turn. And that's probably it. Like, maybe they're playing Boomerangs, but usually not at this point, so it's going to be tough. If they attack, I probably don't trade. I probably just take it, because I think I could be a lot more aggressive. So yeah, they rightfully hold back, but ooh, Snuff Out looking pretty good. Okay, so I could, if I play Carrion Feeder, they very well might counter it, and then I could Snuff Out, we hit for 7, play a Shambling Ghast. That's pretty good. Or I could Snuff Out, they counter that, then I play a Carrion Feeder and a Shambling Ghast. Don't think that's quite as good. We'll play the Feeder and see what they do about it. They are going to counterspell. I guess I could Sadistic Glee here to get 8 damage. Put this on a Bone Picker. Yeah, I think if we get a way to sacrifice this, it becomes lethal next turn. I think that's decent. I think we'll go here. I could put it on the Sage, but that gets blocked by a Terror, or it gets, I might just want to sacrifice it or whatever. Glee is interesting in this build. Yeah, I'm not necessarily 100% sold it's the right thing to do, but I think I like Glee in Black Sack a little bit more than a lot of people. But one of the issues that I have with Bone Picker is usually that it doesn't scale in the late game. It doesn't get any bigger than a 3/2. Sadistically is a way that that can kind of change. And since we're trying to build our deck to be able to sacrifice as many creatures, not as many creatures, to be able to at least sacrifice 1 creature on turn 2, we have so many Village Rites to continuously sacrifice things and get a lot of value that I feel like the Sadistically can be really good. So, I don't know. It's something we're trying out. Sleep's not bad. That makes it so we definitely don't have lethal here. They play a Serpent, but we're still in a very good spot. Well, we'll swing for 3. If they have, like, they're dead in the air next turn, so they're going to have to sleep the dead, and if they have to sleep the dead to use up all their mana every turn, they're still dead in 2 turns. We have chump blockers. I think we're probably good. Mental Note. Might be a bit of an overload of the if creature dies, do something effects, but on the other hand, it is nice with the extra flyers. Yeah. Might try it out. I say give it a go. I like it a lot even in just like the regular builds, because it can... They have a lot of Mental Notes. It's useful to throw in a flyer, especially against those Krark clan decks, so that you have a guy that survives that. But also it can just be really good on a Carried Feeder or a Beetle to get it out of bolt range if you're against a red deck. There's a lot of utility that the Glee has. You can throw it on a Vampire to get +3/+3 for every guy, which if you can't hit them for any damage and you have to just fling a Vampire for 20 damage to win the game, that's a really good way to do that. So there's a lot of benefits to Glee that I really like. Well, here we get Tragic Slip, Marauder, Rotten Reunion, Spellbomb. We already have Snuff Out. That said, in this matchup, I usually cut Glees because they are susceptible to Demon Inferior. So I think I don't need them as much. We'll cut a couple Shambling Ghast. They can be good to pick off a Delver, especially on the, well, not on the draw, on the play. And they're obviously good for getting our Bone Pickers, but I don't think that's as necessary. We still need to cut 4. With so many card draw spells, I'm probably always cutting some card draw spells when we're sideboarding, just because, like, I don't want to cut fodder and I don't want to cut lethal threats, just threats. So we'll cut a couple of those. I feel like a Stamina can go. We're already not playing Rites of Consumption, which I usually cut because they get counterspelled, and that's pretty bad. Actually, you know what? On the draw, I think we'll just cut the Shambling Ghasts, because the chances we get like that really early double Bone Picker is lower, and just less important, I think. Especially if they like counterspell us. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't make sense. Well, another 5-lander. Not going to be keeping this one. Alright, this is a pretty decent 6. Decent hand in general, but we definitely need some fodder. Get rid of a swamp here. That's a great draw. Hoping for no Force Spike. Mental Note hits a Serpent and Counterspell. They're going to Delver, which means I can hopefully get these both down. Swing for 1, and yeah, we'll just Feeder and Beetle. I think against Counterspell decks, it's nice to cut a couple draw. Yeah, I think that's not bad. I think I went down to 6 here. I think in this build with no Vampires and stuff like that, we're pretty reliant on the sack outlets, especially trying to get those Bone Pickers early, that I don't think I'd ever want to cut more than 2 in this version. But I think cutting 2 is pretty free. Just don't want to throw off the numbers too much. They Brainstorm, so Delver's definitely going to flip. Off a Lorien. Swing for 3. What? They missed their land drop. They don't cycle a Lorien for an island? That's weird. Well, they probably have a counterspell. So Stamina on this is unlikely to resolve. But if they do something on the end step, I think we're just going to attack and then pass. We have the same clock as them, roughly, but of course ours grows. If they tap out at the end step, I'll Stamina Village Rites, and if not, I'll probably do this at their end step. They're going to Thought Scour, Demon Inferior, and a Ponder. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't know what they're doing with this Lorien. Well, they find an island, play a Terror, swing for 3. Well, we're going to Stamina this. I'd like this to resolve a lot more than one of these because I have so many of these, but I have to lead on this either way. So if they counter it, so be it. Ideally, I'll just find more fodder through our card draw anyway. That does resolve. So even if they counter our draw 2 here, that's fine, because then I have more, and I get this back, and I get more fodder, which is all I really want. Or they'll just let us draw 2 as well. Another Stamina. Play a Sage. I think we're just going to pass. They're strangely holding up 2 mana here. I'm almost worried about like a Boomerang or something. So I don't really want to attack and like, oh, go to Ether Terror or whatever. I think we'll just wait. I'll do another Stamina and Village Rites, and then we'll have tons and tons of fodder, so I should be able to attack like with no problem. But finally cycle that Lorien. Play an island. Swing for 3. We'll Stamina the Link Breaker again. I could go for the Sage, make extra flyers, but I don't know. I think the Mercenary might be more valuable here. Draw another 2. Looks like they're fine to let it all resolve. We get a Snuff Out and a Shambler. Of course, now that we've used all our Staminas. Got a Shambler. That's still pretty good with the double Mercenary. We'll see if they want to counter it. They don't. We'll pump it up. And I'll go ahead and swing with these at this point. I could Snuff Out, but clearly they have a counter spell or something. I think I'd rather have them block first, and if they have a trick, then I get to like snuff it out. Plus, we just have blockers for it. I'm not really worried about it hitting with us, like connecting with us, unless they have an Artful Dodge, which could be bad, especially if I do snuff out. But blocking the Beetle makes it a lot easier for me to get this up to killing their terror too. So I'll take that. Sack the Sage, the Link Breaker, and well, might as well do the Shambler since I pumped that up, right? Probably should have done that first. For 3 squirrels. Try to eat their terror. Alright, hit him for 4. Not as worried about dying now. There's a Serpent. And another. Swing for 3. I'm gonna Conviction here. Maybe I should have just blocked with the Insect. And Conviction to that, because it probably doesn't matter. And I would have 3 more life. Like, it probably doesn't matter if I have the Flyer here. But whatever. So I'm probably going to snuff out a Serpent, and then I have 7. I can definitely have lethal off of either Feeder or Beetle. If they have a Dispel, I think I pay life. This can't kill us by itself unless they have like a Gut Shot as well. If they have a Dispel, I still have Chump Blockers. They would need like the Artful Dodge or something. Well, Artful Dodge already killed us. They would have to have some other way to get through. I don't know. I think we're going to be fine here. Pump the Feeder. Pump the Feeder. They could have like a Vapor Snag. Decks don't usually run those, but I could play around it. We'll swing. I probably should leave the Insect back to block the Aberration. I've seen Terra players boarding Gut Shot versus Black Sack, but it seems kind of mid. Yeah, it's... I have a buddy who plays a lot of Blue Terror, and he usually brings in Gut Shot. It is mid, but they don't have a lot else to side in. It's already a bad matchup, so they kind of need to high roll and like... If they're able to Gut Shot a Carrion Feeder on turn 1, okay, they concede. Or if they're able to Gut Shot a... what else? A Shambler in response to a Stamina, it can be okay. But no, it's not amazing. It's just kind of, they don't have anything else to sideboard. You know, the rest of their sideboard is all dealing with mono red or like artifacts, usually. So that's all they have. And then they have some bad main deck cards like Force Spike can be okay. Sleep the Dead can be okay. I mean, they don't have any terrible main deck cards, I guess, but like, I don't know. It's a pretty tough matchup for them for sure. These games have been going a lot quicker, though, so we can see about getting a 4th match in here. Black Sack is tough for Terror. Yeah, it's one of the main guys that I play with. Like I said, it plays Mono Blue Terror. And all of the decks that I play are specifically designed to beat Terror because it's one of the most popular decks online, so I need to be able to be playing decks that beat it. So whether I'm playing Black Sack, Esper Affinity, or White Weenie, I usually have a very good matchup against him. Sometimes I play Jund, and that one's a little bit more immediate, a little bit more even. And I play Dimir Fairies, and that one's probably a little more even too. But like, the other 3 are probably my main 3 decks, and yeah, just always unlucky for him. All right, this is definitely a keep. We do have turn 2 Bone Picker, although we might forego that for Shambler Stamina. Conviction turn 2, and then turn 3 Bone Picker, especially against red. I didn't say this before, but another reason that I'm not always as keen on Bone Picker is that against red, you have bolts that just kill it really easily. And like, it's always a bit of a song and dance to survive against red with your Carrion Feeders and your Beetles and stuff like that, but they have the ability to, whereas Bone Picker is just, well, it just dies to bolt, which a lot of creatures do in the format. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I knew a Lavadar could take out the Shambler there. A bit unfortunate. I could have led with the Link Breaker, but I don't know. Well, now I guess we can go for the Bone Picker with no fear. Yeah, so I just think it's probably... Oh, we got another Shambler. I think red being popular, Bone Picker is another reason that Bone Picker is tougher to make work. Really scared for a Terror ban because I play Terror myself and then a bunch of decks that beat Terror. True. Yeah, they mentioned it again as like a thing they're looking at. I really don't understand a Terror ban or a ban of anything in Terror because some deck has to be the best deck in the format, and I think a relatively fair and easy to counter blue deck is like probably the best thing to be the best deck in the format. I don't know, one of the better ones. I think it's better than Mono Red, which is almost always the best deck, and still is probably the second best deck. It's better than like a really hard control deck that takes forever. It's better than like a crazy combo deck like a High Tide or whatever. So like, I kind of pretty satisfied with Blue Terror being the main deck to beat. I'm trying to figure out what to do here, because I can just, of course, Corrupting Conviction, play a Bone Picker, but then they can just probably bolt it, and it's not that great. I can play a Shambler and set up for a Stamina next turn, or I could just Link Breaker Conviction and set up for next turn. They only have 4 cards in hand, so maybe none of them are Bolt, but I think we should get the Bone Picker down. I think that's what we're trying to do here, right? So I'll attack for 1. And if they block, I could Stamina to trade for their guy, but then they Lava Dart, which they do lose a land. I assume they won't block, and so we get our free damage in. Yeah, we'll draw 2. I'm trying to set up Shambler, Stamina, Village Rites all on the same turn, I think. Bone Picker. It's really strange people hating it that much. I agree. I mean, like, if I play against Terror 5 times in a row, yeah, I get bored of it too, of course. But if I see it once a league, I'm really not too worried about it. I think the games are honestly pretty interesting most times. So it's not my most enjoyed matchup to play against, but it's like definitely it's in the top half for sure. I don't understand it. They attack for 1 and pass. Of course, they did have the Chain Lightning. We get a Carrion Feeder. What are we doing? So Feeder dies pretty easily here. Shambling Gas could help us build up treasure or mana. Yeah, mana for next turn. I don't think I can play a Carrion Feeder, so I think I might as well play a Link Breaker and a Shambler. I could go for a Village Rites, try to hit that land drop. Yeah, it's probably worth it. We also get a Mercenary, which can pump the Shambler, and we have a lot of cards in hand, so I was going to say getting that Swamp could be really good, so we can actually start deploying these. Because, like, these cards are great. They could definitely win us the game, but, like, if I can't deploy them all, we're not going to win the game, probably. Faithless Looting. Double Mountain, not the worst thing to see. They attack for 1, which we'll take. They pass. There's the Swamp. Just being rude and being 1 deeper. I could Carrion Feeder, Shambler, Pump, Stamina, but they'd Lava Dart it. That doesn't do very much. I almost think I just gassed Beetle. Beetle's susceptible, but if they try to Lava Dart it, I sack the gas to the Conviction. They have to bolt the Beetle. Carrion Feeder is, I think, too integral to this hand that I can't just play it when it's going to die to a bolt. Beetle obviously is great alongside it, but I think I'm prioritizing the Shambler with the Stamina here. We'll attack for 1. They're going to Lava Dart the Beetle. I'm going to Conviction the Shambling Ghast. We also get to take out one of their lands here, which is nice. If they kill the Beetle, that's fine. They're using a bunch of resources to kill it instead of something else. And the fact that they do this now, not at our end stop, means that I get to play something else this turn if I want. And they concede. I mean, their hand must have been all lands. Because we had not won that game yet by any means, but I'll take it. I mentioned this in the intro, but we're trying out Vampiric Links here. So we'll see how this goes. We have quite a few cards to sideboard. Snuff Outs are bad here. Bone Picker could be one that is just so bad in this matchup that we might want to take it out because it dies to bolts and they have snackers. I think... I kind of want to try it because for all I know it could, like, without trying it and just assuming it's bad, could be not serving us well. I know it's probably going to be bad. Let's just keep him in for science. And I think we cut... no, I don't want to cut more of those. Sadisticles. I want to keep those in, though. Shambling Ghasts are not the best thing ever. Okay. We'll cut 1 for science. We'll keep the others. I do think it's probably, like, 80% chance I should just get rid of all. Yeah, maybe cut 1. Yeah. Like... Not just bolts. Like, I'm not going to take them out against every single opponent that plays Refurb or Snacker or anything like that. Although, like, Delver of Secrets is often taken out in Blue Terror versus those decks. But they also have bolts, so I'm certainly just not going to deal with that. Here's a 1-lander on 6. That is okay. I think we'll keep. Like, if I can go Sage... I guess I need a land to, like, Feeder... Oh, God. This is kind of interesting. I'm going to pass. So generally, I like to leave up Rotten Reunion on turn 1 or turn 2 going into their turn anyway because they might Snacker here. But if I don't use it, it's like pretty awkward. They just plot a robbery. But my thought process here, although they're plot a robbery. All right, we're going to pass. My thought process was I could then make a zombie and then I can attack with it. It sacks itself and I can play the Bone Picker, but then it just dies to a bolt and that just doesn't do us that much good. Anyway. So, I'm going to play a Sage, and I'm going to hold up Reunion again, because if they go for a Snacker, I would like to get rid of it. Now, they didn't... I think if they had the Snacker, they probably would have gone for it, unless they're anticipating us having a Reunion. But, whatever. Maybe they drew one, and we can catch it now. There's the robbery. I mean, even if they discard, like, a Lava Dart, I can exile it, and unless they want to lose a land. Oh, there's the Snacker. Alright. It all paid off. I generally hate losing the tempo against red, to like wait and leave up the Rotten Reunion, but they often go for the Snacker if they have it, of course, and a Snacker is pretty problematic, especially when we're playing Bone Pickers. So I think we did the right thing. All right, so they're turn 3. They get another mountain. It's not fair. Hey, if we can build up a carrion feeder or something, Vampiric Link could be very good. I think we play feeder and we just pass. And then if they try to bolt or something, we get to Stamina the Sage. If they bolt a Bone Picker, it's 1 less to your face. I mean, that's true. But generally, the way they win is by killing our creatures. They want to... Like, we can race them and win that race a lot of the time. But if they play, like, a control deck and just try to kill all of our creatures, then it's harder for us to win. So, like, if they're throwing all their bolts at the face and then I can Bone Picker with a Vampiric Link, I'm happy with that. But if they kill our Bone Picker, then we can't do that. So, they immediately plot a robbery... And then they're looking to do something now. I'm glad that they spent their mana to do the robbery. Like, if they go for a bolt here or something, then they're tapped out, which is nice. I guess they could be Faithless Looting, too, but that wouldn't make sense to do before or, like, after the robbery. I don't know. If they pass, I gotta pass. I can't be first to act here. Another Stamina. We need more mana. I could play a Beetle, and then we have 2 threats kind of growing. End step, they probably try to kill something, right? They didn't last time. I just need to build up 1 creature big enough, and then Vampiric Link and we'll be good. Yeah, I think we play the Beetle, and then we just pass. Yeah, red removal is really good versus this deck. Yeah, I generally find that I can beat it. I don't know if it's favored for us or if it's pretty even, and I'm just able to, sometimes get there. Of course, we lose to it sometimes too. But yeah, if their best line, like if they just try to race us, I win most of the time. Whereas if they actually try to kill our creatures, then it's a lot harder. If this is a Gutter Snipe, we're probably not dead here. I'm gonna Stamina. They would have to have a Fire Blast to like kill our feeder in response here, and if they do, then at least we don't take extra damage from the Gutter Snipe. Gutter Snipe's pretty bad, but if I can get a really big feeder that can then like Vampiric Link, I'll be okay. So yeah, we're gonna do that and pass. Honestly, Mono Red is a better control game than actual black control decks versus Mono Black Sack. Yeah, that's generally true. That's because most black control decks, like Gardens and stuff, their removal is a little more expensive. Like Cast Down's really good versus Bolt, but it's more expensive. And also they have a lot of conditional removal. Like their Edicts aren't very good, their Snuff Outs don't work, Defile scales slowly, things like that. So they discard End the Festivities. Okay, we're at 16. Trying to figure out if we're just dead. I mean, like, Lava Dart would be 8. Fire Blast would be 7, so that would put us to 1. That wouldn't kill us. Spinning Darkness is pretty good. Oh, we don't have 3 black cards in our graveyard. Oh, that's fine. Well, we're about to with Stamina and stuff like that. All right, I'm going to Vampiric Link on Carrion Feeder. Yeah, and if they try to kill in response, then I get to, like, Stamina this in response, which would be cool. If they don't, then I go for Stamina, and then they try to kill it. I can still get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can still make it a 7/7. So we're going to do this. I guess if they try to kill it in response to this, like once I sacrifice, it's a 2/2, and I only have 3 more to grow it. It's a tough spot here for sure. We'll see what they're doing, though. They're going to Lava Dart the Sage. No, they're Lava Darting us. So I can at any point sacrifice the Sage and then Spinning Darkness. They have to have Lava... I mean, Lava Dart, Fire Blast doesn't even kill us. So I think that's fine. They would have to have 2 Fire Blasts. And then I can survive with the Spinning Darkness. We're going to sacrifice this. See what they have here. They could Fire Blast. No, they Lava Dart us again. Okay. They can also... This is the thing to worry about. They could Fire Blast their own creature after blocks so that I don't gain any life. And then I go to... So I should Spinning Darkness this now. Actually, we still have a Rotten Reunion I could maybe use later. Let's sacrifice this. I should do this before blocks because then they'll get less damage on us. Plus I'll gain life. And if they want to Fire Blast it in response, that's totally fine. They do have the Fire Blast to us. That only puts us to 1, but I'm still going to I'm going to Spinning Darkness this Gutter Snipe in response. Okay. I was going to say, like, they were 1 damage short, and then... But if they wanted to Fire... Like, if they block with Flame Breather, the Carrion Feeder, then Fire Blast it, I still take 3 if I didn't have the Spinning Darkness. I go to 5, and I could die to something that they draw, but we're able to get there. Well, we're 3-1, and we're pushing it a little bit as far as time, but I think we can maybe fit in this last one, hopefully, in about 20 minutes or so. and it won't go too late. But yeah, this match is going, or this league is going pretty well. Bone Pickers have definitely done some work. Some of our wins are still just by traditional feeders and beetles, but that is how it goes sometimes. All right. Oh, and we're against J-Waves, who plays White Weenie, which is a tough matchup for us. But we have the turn 2 double Bone Picker and a Carrion Feeder on 2. That's pretty good. I'm going to lead on the Carrion Feeder because I'm pretty positive J-Waves only plays White Weenie. But if they... Okay, I was going to say if they play red, which they are now, if they killed this feeder, this would all go poorly. So I'm glad that that did not happen. We'll swing... Sacrifice this. I've played against J-Waves a handful of times. They haven't played in a while, I think, because I just have stopped seeing. I usually keep up with them because they play White Weenie, and I play a lot of that too. Have not seen them play in a few months, and yeah, seems like they're a changed person now with mono red here. Flame Breather. This is a very good start, I will say. All swamps afterwards is a little unfortunate, but we also just have a very fast clock here. Pass the turn. If they try to bolt a Bone Picker, I also just get to bring one back with a stamina. I mean, it's possible if they just like gutter snipe here, maybe they just have us dead next turn before we can kill them, but hoping that is not the case. Here's a looting. Like, we have them dead in, well, double Fiery Temper is unfortunate. Dead in 2 turns to the Bone Pickers, but obviously not the Fiery Temper these guys. Well, I'll stamina it. They're probably going to kill the other one, or well, kill one of them with a Fiery Temper as well. But I'll stamina and I get an extra counter on our feeder. Then it comes back, and so we still get to keep one of the Bone Pickers. Jump Scare Mountain, yeah, absolutely. Like, plenty of people play plenty of decks, but there are some people who only play one deck, and when they play a different deck, it is shocking. They're going to take out a feeder to sack that. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, double Fire Temper is pretty good for them, but, like, we just had pretty decent way to counter it with stamina to keep one alive, and then Bone Picker becomes a big guy here. I can't kill. We have 7-9 damage. So I might as well leave this guy back to block. We'll just pass here. But yeah, we'll see what they got. Epicure can block. That's decent. And there's the Gutter Snipe. So I could sack the Infestation Sage to the feeder. Then we have 4 power in the air. The 1 damage doesn't make a difference, though. There's like nothing in our deck that deals 1 extra damage, except for like a Mercenary token, which we wouldn't have. So it's probably better to keep in case we get a Village Rites. We do get the Link Breaker, but that's obviously not quite the same. Alright, well, we get to hit them for 3 and force a chump block here. We have blockers for them, so we're just hoping not to die to their triple pinger. We definitely could, even with this incredible start, but that's just what happens with Gutter Snipes and when we don't have removal. Starting with a looting, we're down to 11. We need him to whiff pretty bad here. Discarding 2 mountains is probably good, but they could also just have kept Bolt, and that would, yeah, that would kill us. Highway Robbery. We're down to 8. Sacrifice a mountain. Lava Dart would kill us. Fire Blast would need an extra something. Lava Dart kills us. That is really unfortunate. I feel like Snipe is the creature you have to react to the most. Just has to die, or you have to win ASAP. Yeah, I think I agree. In general, I've said... I think Murmuring Mystic is like the card, the most intimidating creature where it comes down and you need to answer it right away or you lose, but it's not quite the same. You don't need to answer it right away, you just need to answer it like in a turn or two. And they're often playing counter spells, so it can be a lot harder to kill it even with just a kill spell. But yes, Gutter Snipe is like, it comes down and, well, hope I'm not dead. And even if you have a kill spell, it doesn't matter because they might just kill you in response. And it's definitely similar, higher cost. Yeah, exactly. Like it's not going to like instantly kill you next turn, but it's like, oh, I'm probably going to die in about 5 turns if I don't answer this right now. And it'll just be like inevitable. I won't be able to stop it. So, of course, we're trying out Bone Picker. Nothing wrong with that. That game was probably a prime example. We had double Bone Picker on turn 2. And they had removal for it, but I think that was a prime example of why Bone Picker doesn't work as well, is because it was dealing 3 damage on turn 5 or turn 2. It didn't really matter. Whereas if I had an equivalent level start of like, oh my god, this is like the best start that I could have with Carrion Feeder and Beetle, they wouldn't have been able to survive that 1 extra turn because I wouldn't have been dealing 3 damage in the air. I would have been dealing like, 10 damage with 2 different 1/1s, 2 different creatures. And so obviously, the game would have played out entirely differently. Who knows what would have happened exactly. But I think it's definitely possible that with a similar quality start, but with not Bone Pickers, that I could have gotten there. But, I mean, that's fine. It happens. I just something to note. I'm going to swing for one here. We're going to go for the village rights and hope for the land. We do get there. I guess I'll lead on a feeder. We got 3 of them. If they lava dart it, I might sack an insect because I just want them to waste more stuff. But if they bolt it, it's obviously, I'm just going to leave it. It's going to die. Searing Blaze. Well, that's a bit unfortunate just because I also take 3 damage there. So, Carrion Feeder, Shambler. I can Sadistic Glee onto it, but I can only give it a couple counters. I think I actually just lead on another feeder here and pass. If they have like an End the Festivities, I can keep the feeders alive. I'm hoping that I can get like another piece of fodder next turn, and then Sadistically onto the Shambler, and keep it alive. Well, they're going to bolt the feeder. I'll sack it to the other one. I'm sure they're going to then bolt that. Boom, boom, boom. I guess I could, if they bolt this, I could make it big enough to survive. But I lose everything. And then if they have a land and a lava dart or something, we're going to die. But do I think I can win off a Shambler and a insect token? Even with a Sadistically? No. I don't think so. So I think I need to sacrifice and hope they have no other burn to keep to kill this guy. I guess a Lava Dart would only do it if they play a land and sack. Okay, they don't have anything. All right, 1/5/5 is pretty good, actually. Especially with the Vampiric Link. We don't have any other way to grow it. I gotta just play this to gain some life, I think. If they double bolt it, you know, so be it. But I could sandbag that, but if they kill this, I'm pretty hosed anyway. And they just use 2 bolts and a Searing Blaze. I'm hoping they don't have the removal for it. There's an Epic here. Flame Breather. All right, I'm gonna put a Statistically on it now because they're gonna, well, I guess I hope they block with the Epic here, because then I also get to Tragic Slip this, but if they don't, I still just gain 5. That's fine. We're 26. Do have a Fiery Temper. I can grow this by 1 by Tragic Slipping the Epic here, so if they, like, Fiery Temper this and then have, like, a Lava Dart, Flashback Lava Dart, I can keep it alive. But if they just have another Bolt, it's going to be tough. And then even with my life and everything, I'm gonna die if they just kill this feeder. But they didn't, so we get that game. They were hoping to draw one off of that Fiery Temper, discarded the blood token, but weren't able to get there. Let's run it back. Vampiric Link seems really impressive. This hand is decent. Yeah, it's been growing on me a little bit. I think I definitely think there's a possibility that I'll want to switch to it over Stovok Lifestaff. I do think it's still... My big issue with Vampiric Link is that if your opponent has a chump blocker, then they chump block, you know, your 10/10 with their Epic here, and then it's not that hard for them to have a Lava Dart or a Lightning Bolt to kill their own creature. So if you like, oh, I can gain 10 life here and I'm fine, but then they can just kill their own creature to block and you don't gain any life, and they only need 1 more turn to survive, like, you will often die there, which feels bad, but otherwise, like, it's not bad. I know life gain is almost OP in the meta. Yeah, that definitely could be true. Like a full minute behind. Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, Vampiric Link has been good. It's just I've lost a couple times when I should be gaining a bunch and then they kill their own creature and then I die the next turn, which is tough. But Stovok Lifestaff has proven to be a very expensive way to gain life. So I'm trying to figure out what to do here. Of course, I can Stamina, play a feeder, make a big guy, make a bunch of guys. Not bad. If they have End the Festivities, I get to at least have a big creature. I think that's probably it. I mean, not much more to say. Swing. We'll go for the Stamina. Sacrifice. Make a bunch of guys. Of course, I have a Tragic Slip. I could have killed the Flame Breather too. I'm certainly hoping that 1 turn of a Flame Breather is not going to kill us. If it was a Gutter Snipe, I obviously would Tragic Slip it. If there's a Gutter Snipe here, I will definitely Tragic Slip it. But I also get to Sadistically onto this Shambler. And then sacrifice a Squirrel. Grow here. Tragic Slip the Gutter Snipe. And then swing. And they take it. I could make it 10. We'll just hit him for 6. Pass. A couple jump blockers isn't bad. Grab the prize with a Fiery Temper. We're going to go down to 16. They plot a robbery. Definitely got to leave their guys back. Let's see. 6. Let's see. If I just play these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, this guy could be super lethal because I could sacrifice this. So this guy has to be blocked. This guy, though, can I make lethal? 1, 2, it's already 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So maybe. But I get to Village Rights this regardless because it grows this. We get the Stamina, so that means either of these should be lethal. So they have to block both, but they don't necessarily know that. Which means if they block the Squirrel here, then we should win. Oh, and if they just block this one, then they probably don't realize that I could just sacrifice. Well, they concede to that. Probably thought they just need to keep the Flame Breather alive to have a shot. But the fact that they didn't block the Carrion Feeder means that I didn't even need the stamina, and I could have just sacrificed the Shambler. 1, 2, 3. This becomes a 7/7 sack that, get 7 squirrels, and then hit. But we take it down, and we get a nice 4-1 with the deck. Glee on the Shambler is so nice. It is such a great combo. That's the thing I love about this deck, is that, like, I'm not much of a big infinite combo player, but I like little synergy combos. And so Stamina with Shambler is amazing. Sadistic Glee with Shambler is amazing. That's why I like it. Here, I mean, Carrion Feeder and Beetle are great together. In the other version, Vampire and Rights is amazing. Like, there's a ton of stuff. I want to make a deck that features First Strike as well. I think that's underrated. Yeah, I think First Strike definitely could use some more cards that are playable in the format. But yeah, so let's see. I did not hate this. I think this might actually be not a bad version if you want to play Bone Pickers. I think this is something like what you'd want to play. Obviously, you can play with the numbers. If you don't like Sadistically, that's fine. Take it out. If you don't like Snuff Out, I think Snuff Out particularly is good with the Bone Pickers because it just gives you another way, if you snipe like a Delver or something, to get those turn 2 or even turn 1 Bone Pickers. And yeah, I mean, like, generally I'm not that big of a fan on the 8 draw spells in the other lists. And we've seen that they can, we can dirtle a little bit too much with them here, but they're not bad in general. It keeps your hand stocked and is a really nice way to get Bone Picker on turn 2. So if you're looking to Bone Picker, I think you probably want to play something similar to this. You can obviously switch it up a little bit to fit whatever feels right for you. Man, I really want to fit Glee into my build. You should at least give it a try. It could be sweet. Just came into the stream. How did the Bone Picker feel? It felt all right. I think the big issue with it is that it dies to Bolt, and then it trades with Refurb and Sneaky Snacker. But we did just play against Red, and it still felt okay there. It did, I really like it with, another thing is, usually I run 3 Staminas. I upped it to 4, but I really like Stamina because it can save your Bone Picker, which is another nice little combo. Like, saving a Beetle or a Feeder can be okay, but they lose all their counters. Saving a Bone Picker with it is really nice. So, yeah. I'll probably fiddle with this list a little bit more. I still currently think I like the other version that I worked on for 9 months a little bit better, but I think this one didn't feel too bad at all. Well, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm going to probably try to stream again. I don't know about this week, but next week, if nothing else. And there's daily videos up on the channel, so make sure to check those out as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.